Man, it's your boy Z, and I'm back again with another video. And then I'm gonna be doing something different because I'm also going live on my IG. So let me wait a few minutes because I want everybody to get in here while I continue because I'm gonna be doing something very different. All right, and I want to thank everybody that's gonna be joining this live because I want to talk about Brian Flores. Now to my IG following, to the people that's gonna be watching this video, I'm also going to be addressing my YouTube audience at the exact same time. And for my YouTubers, the ones subscribed to my channel, you can find me at ZReels. That's ZREELS. And you can catch me on there. I'm gonna be having this live on my definitely on my story. But I wanted everybody to tune in because I made a post about Brian Flores today on my social media, and I'm going to explain that once again, this is an attempt to try to get these owners removed out of here, right? Like Brian Flores is somebody that once again this guy's not rap type. He really ain't. Because if you actually, for those who actually paid attention and watched the entire season, and I'm not just talking about watched your team, because the one thing I noticed ever since like Colin Kaepernick, okay, one thing I've noticed that people don't really they don't do their own research. They don't watch the whole season. Or they watch the season, but they don't watch other teams. They only pay attention to their team and who they're facing. They don't look at all the other teams in the division. You don't pay attention to the storylines of what's really going on. So, what's up, Western? So, I'm going to be talking about Flores, and I'm going to explain to you why there's no racism at all. It's just not. Because if you saw you saw the schedule, who the Dolphins face and how they perform, you'll see why the Dolphins let them go, and why the Giants and the Broncos, well, John Elway's not going to take a chance on them. Okay, so I want to thank everybody for coming in. And I'm going to break something down to you. And for the ones on my social media, if you want to see my YouTube video, I'm going to post it tomorrow. Once it's uploaded, I'm going to post a link so you can see what I'm showing you. Because I'm somebody who does real research. And I back up what I say. Okay, because people act like I don't know what's going on. People tend to not take me seriously. They think I'm just a joke, right? I'm just talking out my behind. But no, man. Like, Brian Flores is trying to do the same thing Kaepernick did. And again, we all know how I feel about Colin. This ain't about him, but the NFL's in another lawsuit, which is meaningless. Because no way that Brian Flores is going to win this case. Now, to my YouTube followers. So basically, I'm to the YouTubers, all right, what you seeing right now, you seeing the new head coach of the Miami Dolphins, which is Coach Mike McDaniel from the San Francisco 49ers. And it says, almost 4 weeks into the search for a new head coach, the Miami Dolphins have decided on Mike McDaniel. The Dolphins officially announced early Sunday evening that they hired McDaniel, who worked last season with San Francisco 49ers as a defensive coordinator. The 11th coach in team history. Mike McDaniel's not bad. Let me tell you now, because the 49ers have an established score put together. They did a good job. That team almost, like I said, even though the Rams beat them, again, man, that's a solid team. But let's go down right now. Let's look at what ethnicity this man is, because again, man, Brian Flores, something is wrong with this dude, right? Everybody thinking they racist. This is is the Dolphins' new coach black. He says he's one of only 4 minority coaches in the NFL. McDaniel is biracial. His father is black, and the 49ers will actually get a handful of complementary compensatory picks because of the new Rooney Rule stipulation encouraging teams to develop minority candidates. Okay? So yeah, the man is half black. And one thing about Stephen Ross, the majority of his following, the majority of his front office, the people who are under him and helping him run the team, most of them are all black. Now there's a black matter of fact, let's look at who the Dolphins GM is. Chris Greer. Chris Greer is a black man. Now this is a black man that fired Brian Flores, not Stephen Ross. Let's get that out the way now. You got fired by another brother. Because what people got to realize that anytime an owner makes a decision about anything or anybody, the whole front office has to be informed. That means not just him making a decision, but it's the GM, the president, the vice president, the chairman. You got a whole board that they work with. Okay? It's not like when you have Jerry Jones and he's the owner and the GM. He's making the majority decisions. Like, no, Steven Ross's team is not ran the same way as a Jerry Jones or Al Davis. God rest his soul. No, you got multiple people pretty much in agreement in these decisions. So yeah, so Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel's a brother. He's light skinned. Just like Devin Booker, just like Steph Curry, just like Patrick Mahomes. They the same skin complexion. Okay, so get that out the way now. All right? The man then hired another brother. There's no racism there. Okay? You can't say the NFL is discriminating. You just can't. When you decide to sign a contract. At the end of the day, Stephen Ross did give him an extension, right? They gave him a 3-year deal, but the man did nothing. Now let's look at the schedule. And I'm looking at the schedule right now for who the Dolphins played. And this is one of the reasons why, again, the Dolphins had to fire him. Because for you to go 10-5 last year, right? They went from 10-5. They finished with the same record as the Arizona Cardinals. Okay? Matter of fact, let's look at the Cardinals head coach. Cliff Kingsbury. So him and Cliff Kingsbury is white, okay, but even though Cliff Kingsbury is a Caucasian, what did Cliff Kingsbury do differently that Brian Flores didn't do? Okay, because the man also finished 10-5 last year, except this year they actually made the playoffs. Yeah, the Cardinals made a lot of moves with their management team, but the Dolphins have no excuses. They're young. They're no different than Cincinnati in that sense. Okay, they got a lot of help. Like Joe Burrow, like Tua Tagovailoa, they both have won a BCS national championship. Except Tua had actually defeated Georgia the last time he was playing. Right? Tua has a championship, so does Joe Burrow. Now, Tua didn't win a Heisman Trophy like that. Even though he was a Heisman Trophy candidate, he didn't win it like that. Both of them got championships, okay? Going into their rookie years. Okay? But let's look at the schedule. Because for you to go 10-5 and then go 9-8, that's ridiculous. That's like taking a step back. There's no excuses for that at all, right? Now, the first game, week 1, I'm not going to count preseason. Okay, we're not going to count preseason. We know preseason doesn't count. That's just warm-ups. That's just to see who's going to make the roster. But let's look at the first game, right? I'll say you beat New England 17-16 by 1 point. I think Tua had 202 points. Gaskin 49 points, and then Devontae Parker had 81 receptions. But let's look at week 2. Now, week 2 against the Buffalo Bills, you lose 35-0. Now, I want everybody to pay attention to that number, right? The Dolphins got donutted. The Buffalo Bills dropped 35. It was 35-0. And Brissett had, I guess they were switching quarterbacks. Brissett played in that game. He had 169. Gasket had 25 rushing yards, and then Waddle only had 48. That's terrible. So you mean to tell me Brian Flores wants to claim racism, y'all, right? He wants to say that the NFL is discriminating against him, but this dude his team didn't score a single point against the division rival Buffalo Bills. Now, we all know Buffalo is a great team. They've competitive them. This is the most competitive they've been since the 90s. Right? When they had Jim Kelly since the 80s, the late 80s, going into the 90s, when they had Jim Kelly, Andre Reed, Bruce Smith, Darryl Talley, that team, right? But what I don't get is, how you not put up a single point against Buffalo? That's no excuses for that. That's just horrible. I'm looking at it. It's terrible, dude. It's like, you got to be kidding me. Like, no, dude. That's a total... Let me explain something to everybody, right? When a team... Now, this is almost just as bad as when Buffalo beat up Houston. Now, Buffalo put up 44 against Houston. And that was expected because most of the Texans players don't want to be on that team. They just there to get a paycheck. After what happened to Deshaun Watson, don't nobody really want to play there like that. But if I don't get by Brian Flores, how are you supposed to be the head coach of this Miami Dolphins team, and yet you don't even score a single touchdown, let alone put up 3 points against Buffalo? And that's supposed to be division rival, right? You normally play your rival tougher than that. Now, as many head coaches has been there, they ain't never got blown out by Buffalo. They ain't never lost to Buffalo that bad. And Buffalo wasn't even that good of a team back in the day. Not like they haven't been in the last 2 years. Like, Before Sean McDermott got there, Buffalo ain't never lost. The Bills ain't never beat up on no Dolphins like that at all. I mean, 35-0. That means you didn't score a single touchdown. There was no effort. I'm sorry, man. Yeah, Flores wants to complain about discrimination. And then, okay, then the third week, okay, you lose to the Raiders. 31-20. Okay, that was in overtime. I give him that effort. You lost, but there was effort. But then the fourth week, 27-17 against Indianapolis. Now, Indianapolis has Carson Wentz at quarterback. He's not that good. We all know the running back, Taylor, pretty much carried that team. But again, man, you got to put up some effort. And look at Brown, the running back, 23 yards. Devontae Parker. Parker's better than this, matter of fact. But he only has 77 receiving yards. Brissett, 199. And I think this is when Tua was injured. Because him and Tua share, I know it's what a lot of teams do with Brissett. They come on him with this other starting quarterback. That's might have been when Brian Flores was doing here. But, okay, so you lose here. But then, okay, you get blown out by Tampa Bay in week 5. That's 45-17. I'm going to give him a pass because they was going to beat Brady at all. Okay, Brady's team, okay, that was the defending Super Bowl champ, so we give him that one. But against the Jaguars. Now, Jaguars, last time I checked, okay, Urban Meyer just got fired. 23-20, right? You lost to the Jaguars. Let me look at the Jaguars record real quick, right? 3-14. An under 500 team you lost to. No excuses for that. At all, dude. None. The Jaguars that went 3-14 this season, dude. Like, come on now. But again, like, they supposed to be keeping you from getting a job. But you not, once again, he's not doing his job as a good head coach. This guy deserves to be fired. And it was close, too. That was a close game, but the Dolphins supposed to be way better than the Jaguars. Again, last season, this team finished 10-5. There's no excuses for that. Then the following week, you lose to Atlanta. Right? Let's look at the Falcons record. Cause that don't make no sense. 7-10. They're barely above 500. But even the Atlanta is kind of booty. That team needs to get rid of Matt Ryan gotta go. He need to retire too, matter of fact. You lost to old man Matt Ryan. Ryan is old. Like, he's up there with Ben and it's about time for him to go too. Him, Aaron Rodgers, these guys getting old. But then you lost 30-28. It was a close loss, but it was a close game and you still lost. So I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you 1-7. You're already on a 6-game losing streak. Okay, against Houston, okay, you're gonna win that one now, 17-9. Baltimore 22-10. That's not bad. But remember, this is a Ravens team that got max injuries. Of course, he's going to beat Baltimore, and that was Tua at 158. But look at the rushing. This is another problem, too. This guy had no running game at all. Why do your running backs have under 100 yards? Gaskin, 34 rushing yards. Waddle, okay, 83 receiving yards. The only legit good receiving game he had was Gesky, and that was 115. Again, his receivers, his running backs, they did not do a good job at all. So again, I'm looking at stats, y'all. Numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie. Now, anybody that don't believe me, you can go look this up yourself. Because this is according to ESPN. I'm looking at the schedule. I'm looking at stats. And I'm like, man, like, these numbers are absurd. The running backs done nothing. That means you have no... What are you doing with the offensive line, Flores? Because this don't make no sense. Now, even though Tua had almost, he was like 9 points away from having a 300-yard game, a 300-yard game, you still lost. Buffalo, again, sweep 26-11. That's another blowout. That means Buffalo dropped like 3 touchdowns against the Dolphins. It was like, no fight at all. Buffalo last year played harder. What happened, Flores? Again, you wonder why Denver and the New York Giants, see, the Giants are already in a lot of problems now. Y'all got to say the Giants have lost enough games that it is. This is the same Giants team that hired Jason Garrett and fired him. So the Giants ain't going to waste no more time. They not. Because the Giants already got a lot of problems now. They trying to get Daniel Jones established. You know what I'm saying? They trying to bid around Saquon as much as possible, but they're not finna take no loser. Okay, so you beat Baltimore, even though they got max injuries. Okay, you beat the Jets. The Jets are just, they terrible. You beat Carolina 33-10. That was like your biggest win. But remember, this is Carolina with Cam Newton. Cam Newton is another one on his way out. Of course, you go beat the New York Giants. They're trash, 20-9. Again, these you barely beating up barely 500 teams, and I think the Giants another team that was under 500. Okay, you sweep the Jets. That's expected. Of course, you go beat the Saints. Drew Brees retired. Jameis Winston out for the season. And then I want y'all to look at Week 17 because this is what did it, right? They lost to the Tennessee Titans. That's a game you need to win. Now, me I remind you, Derrick Henry didn't play that game. Derrick Henry was missing for like 8 games off of injury. The man barely came in the playoffs. And when Derrick Henry wasn't 100% either, I'm going to tell you that now. Going into that playoff series against Cincinnati, he was not 100%. Derrick Henry was maybe like 75 to maybe like, I'm going to say 78, maybe 80. That was not his best at all. Derrick Henry fully healthy, Bengals is not going to win that game. Maybe that's why Tennessee couldn't run the ball effectively because Derrick Henry was still trying to get himself back going, but it was already too late. Now, you lost to a Tennessee Titans team that had Fluker, I think his name was Fluker. Dante Fluker as the backup. Now, I started him already. I should know this because I played fantasy league, so I started him, but he actually won me a game with his points, but I'm just, man, you couldn't beat a Tennessee Titans team without Derrick Henry. Everybody knows the team run through Derrick Henry. Now, Ryan Tannehill does make good plays. I give him that. Okay, you do have Julius Jones you got to worry about, but Julius Jones is an older man too. Like, Julius Jones is not all that good. He ain't what he used to be. This ain't the Julius Jones from Atlanta. This ain't 2016 Julius Jones and before. Like, Julius Jones is kind of like toned down. He's not what he used to be. Again, no excuses for that. They're supposed to win that game. But even then, 34-3. You get blown out completely out the water. 34-3. Come on now. How in the hell is Brian Flores supposed to be thinking you think he gonna remain in Miami? That's no effort. 34-3. Now, yeah, Tua had a solid game. He had 205 yards. But again, the running backs are nowhere to be found. Johnson, 49 in that game. The week before it, Johnson only had 39 rushing yards. There are no running backs. Where are your rushing game? That's why the Dolphins are not effective. Offensively, they have no running game. Flores, as a head coach, you got to come up with a better job of your rushers. Your running backs got to put in work. This man did a poor job with his receivers and his running backs. Okay? Again, there's reasons why this guy got fired. Hey, Keisha, thanks for joining in. So again, you can't say the NFL is being racist when the brother is not doing his job as a head coach. Because I'm looking at these numbers, right? There's no reason. Now your runner is supposed to at least have, I say, at least 90 to like 100 some yards rushing. Let's look at the Titans, for example, right? We're gonna look at a legit running back. Okay? Let's look at their schedule. Before I continue, let's see how many yards they had in that game. We're not going to count Miami because, again, Brian Flores deserved to get fired. I'm just being honest, dude. Because that don't make sense. But look at the Bills. Let's look at the Bills, right? Look at that. Allen Singletary had 110 yards against Atlanta, right? Against Atlanta, he dropped 110 rushing yards. Yet, your guys only dropped like 39, dropped under 40. Look at Knox. Look at his receivers. Knox, 117. Beasley, 98 receiving yards. Diggs, 162 yards, right? McKenzie is not nowhere near Diggs' level at all, but he had 125 receiving yards, right? Look at the Bills got better than them. Yeah, Bills are a far better team, but look at the running backs, dude. Allen, 264. Against Miami in week 8, 249. Look at that, man. Look at the Bills, right? Again, I'm just being honest, and that's just Buffalo's running backs. There's a bigger difference. What's up, Kyle? How you doing? Y'all, hey Kyle, thanks for joining in. But I gotta tell these brothers, like, I gotta tell people, Brian Flores is getting fired because he done a bad job as a head coach. Again, Brian Flores running backs had no game at all. He had no ground attack. They were no threat to nobody's defense. That means on the scouting report, nobody is scared of them. Nobody fears them at all. That means it was mostly the quarterbacks doing all the work. Maybe that's why Tua got hurt. Too much was on Tua this whole season, man. This is why he got fired. His coach is not even balanced at all. Because you can't, again, the running backs, look at that. Brown, right, in week 3 against Indianapolis, Brown only had 23 yards. I'm looking at your rushers, dude. Devontae Parker's better than this. Again, Gesicki only had 115 yards, but that was against Jacksonville, and you still lost that game. I'm like, come on now, dude. Like, this is no excuses for that at all. No running backs. I mean, this man has not done a good job as a head coach at all. Like, this is why Brian Flores is getting fired. Now, the only good, legit game that his running backs had, Johnson had, was 117 against New England. They won that game, but you didn't make the playoffs. It was already too late. In that week 18, New England wasn't even trying that hard. Cal, yeah, thank you, bro. My point exactly. And Brian Flores didn't know what he was doing. He really wasn't. Because Gaskin is not that bad at all, man. He really ain't. That means he didn't have a good offensive scheme at all. For example, Cal, your San Francisco 49ers, they know how to use their running backs. Like, that's one thing I give them that. Deebo Samuel and them, they're great. Why? Because Kyle Shanahan knows how to put together a scheme. And Kyle Shanahan don't have the best offensive line either. Again, Jimmy G don't have the best offensive line, but they know how to attack the defense where they're weakest. They know how to draw certain plays, certain schemes, where it's comfortable for his running backs. The problem with Brian Flores, he don't do a good enough scheme at all. Again, you can't have a good quarterback unless you have a decent running game at all. If your running backs is not putting up at least 9, 10 a carry, you're not going to win that game. You're not beating nobody. But the fact that Buffalo dropped 34, they scored 35 points. They didn't win it. They didn't score a single touchdown, a single score in that game. Brian Flores deserves to get fired. I'm just being honest, man. That's no excuses. That's the divisional rival. You didn't score a single touchdown against Buffalo. And again, Gaskin had 25 yards. He was completely shut down. There was no fight at all. That's bad. Okay? That's why people, man, to my black folks watching this video, watching this live, this is to everybody, right? If you're going to talk about the NFL being racist, look at what since Brian Flores want to complain, go look at Brian Flores' stats. Go look at his team stats right now. Because this is terrible, man. They lost 8 games. Matter of fact, let's look at the entire NFL records, right? Let's look at the NFL rankings. Let me take a second. Let's look at these rankings, right? Because again, Dolphins is 98, right? Let's look at everybody around them, right? The Raiders is 10-7. They were 9-7 going into the playoffs. So was the Bengals and the Steelers. So you mean to tell me that's why I say he had no excuses. You was up there with the Raiders, Bengals, and the Steelers, and yet you couldn't beat them out. There's no excuses for that at all. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Mozart is great, bro. Like I said, the San Francisco 49ers don't have the best offensive line, but they know how to use their running backs. Why? Because they use a good scheme. Kyle Shanahan knows how to figure it out. This is horrible, dude. Look at the Browns 8-9, Ravens 8-9. The season was pretty much wide open. And this is another reason why he deserved to get fired too, because Brady is no longer in that division no more. Brady ain't been in the AFC East in 2 years. He's gone. The Patriots barely they finished 10-7. The Bills 11-6. Okay? There's no excuses why the Dolphins can't make the playoffs. You have absolutely no excuses at all, dude. That's sad. That really is sad. And it's just no. I can't comprehend that. But yet when you say somebody is doing them wrong, come on now, just stop it. So if y'all don't know, y'all want to know why he's getting fired? Now you know why. Oh yeah, and I told y'all that McDaniel got hired. That means Stephen Ross is trying to win. He saw what the San Francisco 49ers was doing with that offense, and that's why he hired McDaniel. McDaniel is a great coach because he tried to get his running backs established. That's why. That was McDaniel was the one who helped Kyle Shanahan with that play calling. Because again, man, like this is crazy. It really is, man. It don't make no kind of sense at all, man. It says the Dolphins are ranked as high as 12th out of the 32 NFL teams, and as low as 18th, according to Yahoo Sports. Analyst says, raise your hand if you expected the Dolphins to win 7 games in a row when they started 1-7. Look, it says the Dolphins are 25th in yards per game, 307.6. They're 24th in points, and 19.3 per game. Again, this is why he's getting fired. Yeah, I agree. Vegas, I mean, now Alvin Kamara, I understand Kamara, right? Kamara he wants to win badly, man. Like he's frustrated in New Orleans. Before I continue, yeah, I mean he's Alvin Kamara. I mean he got arrested. I mean that's just terrible. I understand Alvin Kamara is like
Yo.
Hey, what's up, bro?
No, I was gonna say one thing I wanted to say about what you were saying about the Dolphins.
Yeah.
And basically they won 7 straight. But go look at the teams that they played in those 7 games.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking at. The Jaguars, Atlanta, like these are under 500 teams. Like Atlanta was barely at like 500. Like Matt Ryan's an old dude.
People were all like, I remember everyone was talking like, oh, the Miami Dolphins are gonna go on a run. I'm like, bro, every team they beat is trash. Like they can't beat good teams.
No, but it goes back to the running game. You have no running backs. Your running backs are not established. You have a decent offensive line, but you gotta. It's how you adjust, and he hasn't done a good job working with that team at all. They have no chemistry.
Right. Yeah, they gotta stop. I mean, every team. There's only a few certain teams that can literally probably go out and just sling it all game, and that's probably the Bills, Kansas City, and that's really about it. Like that don't need the run game to be successful.
I mean, Cincinnati, you could say is balanced. Cincinnati and then teams like Tennessee, because they have Derrick Henry, so that's you could say that too. But
I'm saying like they don't even like the Bills. They'll win a game and probably run for like 30 yards just because Allen. I mean, but Allen too. He's a beast that himself, like running the ball. But I mean, you got to run the ball this day and age. Like a lot of teams, like really aren't like establishing the run and doing that. But for the like speaking on the 49ers part, like our team, we all run off like everything comes and starts with the run. Like I was at that game against the Rams, and we weren't running the ball. Like I went to the first game. I was at the game in the week 18, and then I went to the NFC Championship game. And I said before the game, if we can't run the ball and get pressure on Stafford, we're not going to win the game. And we only pressured Stafford 2 times. We sacked Stafford twice. And the second half, our offensive line was trash. Like people are gonna talk shit about Jimmy, but Jimmy didn't. What can he do when he has no time in the pocket? Like he can't do
exactly.
Our offensive line was awful in the second half.
And that's one thing about the Rams. They bring it defensively with Aaron Donald, and then he got Von Miller too. So they was stacked. Like they was like we gonna bring our defense.
That's what they were saying too. Like I get it, Aaron Donald. Like the thing is, Donald really didn't do much all game, but what he does do is he forces those double teams to the point where there's gonna be a lineman that's free that's gonna be able to get more pressure on our guys. And then if and when that point comes where Donald gets pressure, and he did the last play of the game, he's the one that hit Jimmy that made him flick the ball up and threw the last pick to basically seal the game.
But see, bro, what's crazy about the Niners when they played my Cowboys, y'all had a better running game. You did what my team couldn't. We wasn't running the ball effective. The Niners did, so that was the difference. We couldn't stop the run at all. And that was what gave y'all the advantage in that game. And I tell everybody, like, you got to give Mike McCarthy a chance. Like, he's trying to get things going because the Cowboys are used to losing. I'd rather us lose in the first round than lose in the second round like we've been doing with Jason Garrett. Yeah. But the Niners had the best running game. Like they just attacked us in the ground. It wasn't even much air. It's like
the thing though too is like everyone. I don't think a lot of people are ready for what's going to happen this year. Like I mean, I know we still, we have this year to end up, but whatever. Our season's over. We don't care about Super Bowl. But I'm just excited for next year because this dude Lance is going to open the field up like crazy.
Bro.
Jimmy can't. We know Jimmy can't throw the long ball. But what I am happy about, I mean, Jimmy did change the culture of the organization coming in. You can't say anything about him to the point where, yes, I think the biggest thing that everyone looks at these day and age is fantasy football numbers. Like, they all of a sudden, like, oh, Jimmy's not that good. Like, he wins games. Like, check his winning percentage. He wins games. He'll put your team in a position to win the game. Most of the time. Sometimes he doesn't, like the game that just happened, but like look at his record when he first came in. He's like 32-14 total again with the Niners. Like
the man won like 6 games in a row. If I'm mistaken, he came in there during trade deadline. Yeah. Kaepernick was already gone, and he
at the end of the year.
Yeah,
the season was over, and we beat the Jaguars that year, which the Jaguars.
They was hot.
Yeah, that defense, like bro,
that was Jalen Ramsey back then. I remember that squad. They had New England. They lost by a field goal in the AFC Championship game.
Like Jimmy gave us. I think him playing as well as he did, because I mean, being a Niner fan, when we were 3-5, honestly, a lot of Niner fans were ready to pack it in and just let Trey Lance get ready for the let him get with the the offense right now. Let him take it in. And Jimmy, when we won that one game, the first game that we played against the Rams, we blew them out. That was the game changing for the season, and then we just went on a run. So I think the good thing for Jimmy is that gave us a better pick, because we're gonna trade him. Everyone knows.
Oh, I'll say definitely trade him. I would say trade him to somewhere who
third or second round pick will probably get. And I say he probably goes to my guess is probably the Steelers, Broncos, or Washington.
I say Steelers probably got Dwayne Haskins. They might be investing in him, but probably somewhere like Denver. I could see let's say for example a Teddy Bridgewater as your backup, like a fair exchange. I can see Bridgewater down there in San Francisco, but Trey Lance is the main guy. Now you got two. You got two quarterbacks.
The thing about Lance is the teams are we're gonna start running the RPO a lot more, and you gotta respect the RPO with Lance, because with Jimmy sometimes they would run it, but Jimmy's not tucking that ball and running, so you always know it's gonna the linebacker doesn't have to wait to see who's gonna get the ball. He's gonna just automatically crash for the running back. With Trey Lance, they gotta respect the run, because Lance can pull it and go.
No, Trey actually won games. I give him that. He was looking interesting out there when he started.
Oh yeah, he started 2 games. So he beat Houston, and then we lost to Arizona. I mean, but it was a close game.
I mean, that's Arizona. The Cardinals. Cardinals made moves. I'll give him that. Down the line, Arizona's gonna be tough. That's gonna be our competition.
But, we don't know, because Kyler Murray, they're saying something might be going on with him, because he took out he unfollowed the Cardinals on Instagram, and then he also took all his content down from the Cardinals. So
what? How you let go Kyler Murray?
I think it's just they probably. I think that stuff's fixed, to be honest. They probably just just create some stir up, whatever, in the NFL. We need some stuff to talk about. Yeah. And they probably just really tell him, just go do this.
Yeah, because they're not going to let go of Kyler. Kyler got a lot of help now. He's getting better and better.
He did. So Kyler unfollowed. This is what he did. He unfollowed the Cardinals, took all his content down that was with the Cardinals, and the only thing that he reposted on his story was a touchdown pass that he threw to Mike Evans. So I was like, and now people are saying he might go to Tampa Bay, this and that. So I don't know.
I mean, his contract is up, so they have to sign. He's due for extension. Now, whether he want to stay or not, maybe his agent been talking. It sounds like he's been talking with another team, and then they're going to offer him a lot more money. But I don't see why you
I just don't see the Bucs going away. I think they're going to make a move. I can see the Bucs getting Rodgers and just go straight to
that might happen.
Hey. Dude, Rodgers, or they're even saying maybe Jimmy G over there, but I don't think he fits that offense well.
I mean, unless Tampa Bay's going to offer San Francisco their pick, which they do have. They got some assets.
I mean, I wish. So last year before the draft, the Niners called the Packers and were this was when Rodgers was about to retire, go do Jeopardy, and the Niners had called him and was like, "We'll give you Jimmy G, the 3rd overall pick, and more picks for Rodgers." And they hung up the phone. They said, "No, why would you not do that?"
No.
You're getting the 3rd overall pick. You're getting Jimmy G, and they were giving more picks too, just for Rodgers, and they just didn't want to trade him to the NFC.
No, this is what I would have did when I was Green Bay, right? Now, Russell Wilson, I would have exchanged him. Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson would have been just a fair pick, because Russell Wilson is from Milwaukee anyway. You put him with that offense, that team would for sure win. That's a lock for the Super Bowl. Devontae Adams with Aaron Jones.
You got in here late, Joe. Bro, we already talked about Jimmy G. Jimmy G's a winner, dog. That's all facts.
No, I give Jimmy G his credit. He turned that team around.
Yeah.
It only took him a year to rebuild too. That's the crazy part. They went from 2-14 and
the year we lost to the Chiefs, I was just I was more hurt, because I'm it's so hard to get to that point. It's not your team. You could have the best team. Look at the Chiefs this year. They were great. But you could, even if you have the best team, you still might not make it, because stuff might not fall your way to get there. Injuries, yada yada. And then all of a sudden, we come into 2020, Niners lose basically our entire team. We lost everyone because it was all injuries. So now, just to be back in the NFC Championship game this past, a couple weeks ago, I was just excited about that, because I thought we would never be there again the next couple of years.
And I had the 49ers actually beating the Rams, because I say they're a veteran team. They're better. They have more experience than the Rams, and the Rams have been there in 2 years. So I will give you that regard. They beat him 3 times.
They beat him 6 times in
a
row.
Yeah, 6 times in a row. So I'm like, man, I had Cincinnati going in a rematch. I had them versus Cincinnati in a rematch of like 1989. Because that was the last time they actually faced each other. Well, against Cincinnati when you had Joe Montana.
All right, that's false. That's false, Joe, because we ran the ball 40-something times and beat them. It wasn't our defense. I mean, our defense actually did play well that game. But Mostert ran for 214 yards and 4 touchdowns that game. Why do we need to throw the ball? We need to throw the ball. At that point in the game, I remember that game. You were talking about Green Bay when we played the NFC Championship game. Like, at that point in the game, like, there's no reason for Jimmy to throw the ball. Just keep running the ball. Like, you're up by 30-something points.
No, Cal, I don't know if you I know you remember Madden back in the day. Like, Madden, rest in peace. One of the things he said, and he said this on the old video games, he said the all starts with the line. That's where the battle goes. So your offensive line is better defensive line, or your running back's going to have a field day. And they're going to give your team an advantage because you're able to run time off the clock, time of possession. That's what Cincinnati did against against Tennessee, because they was running the ball effectively. Time possession.
And like you said, it's the scheme, like how you use your players. Like, bro, no one be doing stuff like Kyle Shanahan and McDaniel was doing. The boy, like, bro, they were having Trent Williams come in motion on like a 3rd and 1, like, and just set the edge. And like, I mean, you can say, and as far as like tight ends and stuff, you can say like Kelsey may be the best tight end in the league. Me personally, I think tight ends do more than catch balls. Kelsey may be the best like receiving tight end in the league, but I think Kittle overall is the best, not just because he's on the Niners, but Kittle's the overall best tight end all around.
Oh, he's physically strong. He's the strongest. I will give him that. That dude is bulked. Like, he's built like a wrestler.
Like,
yeah, oh yeah.
He might. There'll be games where he'll catch 13 for 150 and a touchdown, and then there'll be games where he'll catch like 2 for 15, but he'll be blocking his ass off.
Like, bro, like, to be honest, I will put him at fullback. On Madden, I'll be putting him at the fullback position because he can run that. He has that speed. Yeah. He's like a Mike Oslot from back in the day. Solid fullback and catch, but he can pull those through here.
McDaniel's gone, but they just hired what's his name, Anthony Lynn as assistant coach.
Hey, Lynn not bad. I'll give him that. Lynn helped build that Charger team.
I think he just got that Charger team that couple years ago. It wasn't as good as it is now.
Oh no, I'll give him that. Justin Hubert he showed up out of nowhere and just took over.
Yeah.
But even then, bro, like, speaking of Anthony Lynn, notice he didn't complain when he got fired out of L.A. He was like, okay, I'm done. I'm just gonna remain humble. He didn't make a big deal out of it. So me, as Flores is acting out of emotion. Like, it's just he's not getting. Something went down between him and that GM. That's what's telling me. This is a locker room issue.
On top of it, too, the GM. So I think another thing that happened, I think they got off on the wrong foot from the jump. So Flores had wanted Brady, and he basically told him like, "Yo, let's trade for Brady," and the owner didn't want to trade for Brady, and that's that video that surfaced that Brady's talking about. You guys want to keep that fucking guy? He was talking about Fitzpatrick.
Oh yeah. Oh, Fitzmagic.
So he was gonna go down to Miami, Brady, but then Flores wanted him, and then this dude didn't want him. So I think that's where they started off on the wrong foot, and then the other stuff is surfacing about Flores they were trying to pay him like $100,000 per game to lose so that they would get higher picks.
But my thing is, we don't know if that's even true or not anyway. Like, that could be all speculation. But I think the reason why they want Brady because they probably couldn't afford him. They look at their salary cap, and Brady's worth a lot of money, believe it or not. Now, Tampa Bay had money, but they had to give up. I think they had to give up Jameis to get him.
He's the type of person, he'll take a pay cut. Like, Brady's always done that in his career. Like, to bring in the guys, like, every year, you would hear it every single year about Brady, like, in New England. Like, he always took a pay cut to keep like certain guys on the team, like Wes Welker, so they could re-sign him. They would re-sign Gronk. Like, anything that he needed, he would take a pay cut or like restructure his contract so he'd get paid more at the end of his contract rather than like that year.
All right. So Kyle, I need your honest opinion. Do you think Brady is like fully retired for good, or is he gonna come back and play till he's 45?
Nah, I think he's retired. Yeah, I think he's done. I mean, I think it's a win for everyone. I'm just glad he's out the NFC. He's out the NFL. Like,
bro, like, I've been telling everybody, I get so sick and tired of seeing this dude. Like, you got nothing else left to prove.
I'm from New England. I'm from the East Coast, like Northeast. But just, I liked Brady as a person. It's just, I'm so glad he's not on I liked him as a person, but the fans made me not like him.
Oh,
like New England's so cocky over there, bro. Like it's just that's why that's another thing about like.
That's crazy, man. Yo, my bad, man. My live is tripping. Yo, it was getting too real in here. The live is tripping. Yo, I lost Cal. You know, my live is tripping, y'all. My bad. My bad. Yo, my bad. I lost Kyle. Let me see. Can I get him back on here? Yo, that was getting real. My bad, Kyle. It like the ground was tripping.
It's all good.
Bro, I'm from LA, so I thought LA fans was crazy enough. It is us with the Lakers and the Rams and the Raiders and even Cowboys fans. But I know Boston was getting down like that.
Yeah, bro. It's just like because they were such a bad like New England used to be the laughing like from what I've heard. Like my dad was a diehard Pats fan, so they were the laughing stock of the NFL for years. Like they just sucked. Like they were the team that everyone made fun of until Brady came along and stuff. I was actually watching the 30 for 30 on Brady. Like if you have a chance, watch it. It's crazy how like I feel so bad for Drew Bledsoe. Like.
No, he was actually pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Like in the '90s,
he got the money. The crazy part was I was watching it and they were saying like because he had got that $100 million contract and he got hurt that year, and then Brady had gotten hurt again the AFC Championship game against the Steelers. Bledsoe came in, threw 4 touchdowns, like led him to victory, and then like the whole conversation leading up to the Super Bowl was like who's gonna be the starting quarterback this week, and then they named Brady the quarterback, and Bledsoe was just like damn, like. He's like, although I was excited when we got the ring, he's like, it's almost like, he's like, it's like you're in a group project with all the smart kids. They get that you guys, yes, you got an A because they got an A, but you didn't do anything, and they did everything. But he was just like, yeah, it's cool. Like nobody even knows Jimmy G got 2 rings.
No, because he was on the bench all that time.
Yeah, so, but that's the thing. Like, so what I was getting back to was like Patriots fans, like. They're just so expected to like they want to win. They're gonna win all the time. They were so expected to win. Like I was so happy they got blown out against the Bills because like, and I didn't hit up none of my friends because I'm like, let me not put no bad karma to the universe because the Niners are playing tomorrow against the Cowboys, and they're all complaining. Like I seen all of them posting like Brady don't give us no shout out when he's retiring. I'm like, bro, like this dude gave y'all 20 years
22 years at that,
and 6 Super Bowls,
yeah,
and y'all were always. Like, y'all were in the AFC Championship game every damn year, basically, that he was a starter. Like
I'm talking about, bro, when I was, like, 11 years old, 11, 12, 13, when they beat the Eagles, the Panthers, like, 2 years in a row, they won 2, and even when they beat the Rams in 2001. So that was 3 in a 5-year period. And it was crazy. It was only a few teams that was actually able to win, and that was Indianapolis, Pittsburgh, Denver. I think it's, like, one more, and the Ravens. It was just only them 4 out that entire, like, span. Wasn't nobody else getting no ring.
I just want to be like I'm sure you're the same way as a fan, like with the Cowboys. I just want to be in a position where my team is always in it, like for years to come. Like I don't want to be like let's say for Tampa Bay, like so they won a Super Bowl last year, and then obviously they went to the playoffs this year. But if they don't get another quarterback, they're gonna be trash for next year. I don't want to be that team like where it's just like you go to the Super Bowl 1 year and then you lose, or you win, and then you just trash for the next 10 years. Like, as a fan, I want to be in it, like, every year.
I mean, that's every fan's dream, honestly. But it goes down to your management. Like, but John Lynch is a winner. I give him that. The man knows his defense. He was part of that Buccaneers team with Gruden when Dungy got fired and left, and with Indy, Gruden took over. They had a defense. We never want to bring deep in the league, so he knows his football. He knows who to pick up. He knows who to draft. I give the man a great job. Like he's turned that team around.
Yeah, I hope he goes after this dude J.C. Jackson, the Patriots, that corner. He's a free agent this year, so hopefully the Niners they try to build up players, which is good, but shit, you gotta make a splash, every couple of years,
At least a safety. Like y'all can get like a good free safety back there, y'all be straight.
Yeah, we need someone safe that can catch the damn ball. That's what we need. Instead of someone that dropped the wide open damn pass. But yeah, I mean, it's. I wish we would have made it to the Super Bowl, but again, I think as everything settled, all the Niners fans were just all basically posting. I was on Twitter, and like after a 3-5 start, like to get to the NFC Championship game, like it sucks, but it's dope to see that we even made it that far. And I was actually able to go to 2 games. Those were my first 2 Niner games I've been to.
And those games was turned. They say it was more Niner fans than it was Rams fans.
Yeah,
just for your fan base.
It was definitely, and then I don't know, it was weird because like the NFC Championship game, like leading up to it, they were saying like it's gonna be like 46% of the ticket sales were from NorCal, and then they were saying like it's gonna be like a 60-40 split with the Niners have more fans. But honestly, like it could have been, but I think it was 50-50 to be honest. It was loud on both sides of the ball when the offense was on the field, but they were also saying. People were talking about the Rams that were pumping like crowd noise, but who knows? I mean, the DJ there, like I don't know if you've been to a game there, but like every damn down, like he was just trying to get the crowd to be into the game. Like he kept saying it. All right, Rams fans, we need y'all right now. Like bro, you don't need to say it every damn down. Like every down, he was saying it.
Man,
like come on, bro. Like chill out. Yeah. And like we didn't even know like certain stuff like. Injuries, I didn't even know like we had 2 guys get injured during the game, and they don't say nothing like as far as like, oh, so and so is down on the field. Like they don't say it over the intercom. Like, damn, just because we're in the away team, like we still want to know which player is down. So it was cool though. It was a good experience. I wish we would have won, but
I know one thing: Rams better not blow this opportunity, and they got home field advantage in that new stadium.
If they don't win this, because they got a lot of free agents next year. Like this is. They went all in just for this. Like, so they got to win this. If they don't win this, they got to pay Ramsey next year. They got to pay Donald.
Now, Vaughn, Vaughn's going to be gone. I think he's going to retire. Like, he just there to get his ring, and he's out of there. To me, he's an older guy.
I don't know about Cooper Kupp. I don't know if his contract is up or what, but.
Well, they're going to keep him. They're going to keep him. Now, that's a must. That's like non-negotiable.
If I was OBJ, I'm staying. I'm gonna sign a contract. Probably take whatever. Like they got your career restarted. OBJ going there showed that it was on Baker Mayfield, not him.
And it was crazy. D-Jack left. I was kind of upset they didn't pay D-Jack that money because D-Jack is like a veteran, like running back. I would love it for him to have been there this year. I don't think he would have known, but if he would have stayed, bro, he's from Crenshaw and he went to Poly at that. So. Yeah. To see him in that stadium in a Super Bowl like that would have been special. But he chose Vegas. It was all about the money.
Yeah, I don't know what he was doing. Like, you had a point in your career. Like, I get it. Like, you want the ball, but that's what he was saying. He was like, I'm not, because he was the 4th wide receiver on the team at that time, behind Woods, Kupp, and Jefferson. But I mean, if that's what you were there for, I mean, I thought he was there for a ring too. So I would have just shut my mouth. Played my role.
But, I mean, he don't got seniority. Those guys, they remain there for like the last 2-3 years. Like you got to give them you got to be fair in that regard. I'm not just gonna start somebody. We understand you a veteran, but like you ain't really done much of anything lately. And those guys, that's their team. So it's like you got to respect the locker room. You got to respect the seniority and who's above you. You got to earn your stripes.
On the Niners that are getting contracts too. We got Debo and Bosa both. Are due for contracts. We got both of them in the same damn draft. Would you imagine that shit? Debo and Bosa.
Yeah, I was shocked. I'm surprised. Like, and nobody saw them either. They went first round.
Debo didn't have really a good college career until his senior year. He had actually broke his leg his junior year, and then came back his senior year to show out a little bit, and that's when he took off his senior year. He had a great year, and then Kyle just took a chance on him too. But Debo's been balling. That's the thing. It's gonna be crazy. Is like. There's gonna be so many teams trying to like find a Debo on their team, like, but it's not even about like they think it's like Debo is like he's a talented and special person, but and like is a gifted athlete, but like just because you have a guy that could be the same stature as him doesn't mean he's gonna do the same things because it's all about like we said the scheme of like how you put him in a position to run the ball, like. You can't just put a guy back there and just think you can hand the ball to him and all of a sudden you ain't do what Debo do. So now you're like, damn. Like, Kyle, it's all about the scheme and leading up to the play, the motions, this and that. Like, just watching it. Because I was actually, my tickets were, so I was right behind the end zone on my games. So I actually got to see, like, all the motions and stuff. So it's like it's crazy like how much is moving the entire offense when they call plays. Like you got guys moving, going back and forth. You got guys in motion running back around the quarterback, going this way. Eyes are on freaking Kittle running out the backfield. I mean, that's what's gonna make guys like not know what. Like that was like what this dude was just saying earlier. Like, oh, Jimmy only threw the ball 8 times in that Packers game. There was guys literally saying like the how they were motioning so much. Like when Mostert ran for 200 yards, he's like some of the guys in like the Packers defense, like we really didn't even know where the ball was a lot of times. Like, and for you to be on defense and not know where the ball is probably the worst feeling in the world. Like, you don't know who's got the ball, where the ball's getting handed off. Like, and then on top of that, you got that dude Kyle Juszczyk. He's a fullback, but that dude's a damn like he'll do everything. That dude can catch the ball.
Versatile.
The ball. He used to be a quarterback. So
versatility goes a long ways. And one thing I do like about Kyle Shanahan, he proved that it was his playbook that got the Falcons to that Super Bowl. How Matt Ryan became MVP, that was him. It wasn't Dan Quinn, because Quinn struggled. As soon as he left for San Francisco, that was it for the Falcons. Like, they just went down. And they weren't the same since after Shanahan left.
I think that about Shanahan that irks me is like when we get a lead, like or him in general when he gets leads, he like plays to not lose the game rather than playing to win. Like you gotta.
Yeah, y'all, my bad. My bad. Yeah, my internet's cutting out. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, but that was my boy Kyle, man. But now y'all have it. So I thank y'all for tuning into this live. I thank you for watching this video. But yeah, it's the fact that the Dolphins just got this dude Mike McDaniel. They trying to win because Mike McDaniel has the best, like, as far as like running backs goes. You know, he knows what he's doing. You know, he's gonna get Gaskin and he's gonna get Johnson back going. But this dude here, no, this guy's Brian Flores just making a whole lot of noise. That's it. Again, this is why I don't respect Black Lives Matter at all. Now, before I go, I'm gonna read to you who he had picked up because he has no excuses, right? Now you had Malcolm Brown from the Rams. They pick up Jacoby Brissett, who I showed you earlier. What's up, y'all? Thank y'all for tuning in. You also, let me see. So you have Malcolm Brown from the Rams, this who Steven Ross, this who the GM game, right? Jacoby Brissett, Malcolm Brown. You had DJ Fluker from the Ravens. That was a great offensive. He was a great offensive line for Lamar Jackson. Will Fuller from Houston. Then you had Jason McCourty from New England. McCourty is a veteran cornerback. Him and Devin won a Super Bowl together when they beat the Rams the last time. Okay, they had both of the twins on that team. Then you had Bernadrick McKinney, another Houston Texan, but you had center Max Sakura from Baltimore. So Brian Flores has no excuses at all. He had help. But like I explained in the video I'm getting ready to upload, for those on the Instagram who didn't see the video, the stats I was posting, I'm going to upload that tomorrow. And like my boy Cal just told you, Brian Flores was the problem. This was clearly a locker room issue. All right, but anyways, thank y'all so much for tuning in, man. That's all I got to say. And I love talking football. I love talking sports. And every week I'm going to be going live. Every so often I'm going to be having these topics, so feel free to join in. And that's for anybody that want to come on here and debate me. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I talk my gospel and everything, but I like talking sports. So if you disagree with me about a sport topic that I discussed, then let's go live and let's have a great debate. And let's have a nice conversation, a nice, decent conversation. Remember, y'all stay blessed, stay tuned. And as always, I'll see you soon. Goodbye.